So I wanted to do a quick video of my most recent project that I worked on, which is my upstairs built-in shelving unit cabinet. My intention was to make a project video the entire way through, but to be honest, it was such a big project and something that I had never done before. It was just a little bit too much to even try to record things along the way. I was basically learning as I went, and since this is probably the biggest project I've ever worked on, it was a big learning curve for me. So I thought I would basically go over the SketchUp build. It was actually a pretty straightforward build. It took a long time, for me at least, and so I thought if I could at least walk through how I designed it in SketchUp. I basically built it exactly the same in real life as I did in SketchUp, so I thought maybe if I explain some of these steps, maybe some people may get some use out of it. So this is basically the space. It's about 8 feet wide by 8 feet tall, and the room is pretty small, and so I didn't want a full-size desk. The desk top here is only about 18 inches. The shelf upper units are only about 12 inches deep. So this is basically it. So yeah, so I started out by building these bottom two desk units. Pretty straightforward boxes, just two of them individually on their own, and then an 8-foot strip across the top for the desktop. So those two were individual units. I then built the shelf units for up on top. These two were identical to sit on the two ends, and then the centerpiece was its own, a little bit wider, but basically the same. These top sections boxes here were just hollow boxes because I ended up running electrical. This outlet right here was controlled half and half by a switch on the wall over here to the left. So basically I split off of that and ran electrical up to the top so that I could have 3 lights across here, which I'll show you in a second. So then those pieces, the desktop goes on, and I basically built all of those individually in my garage. And then brought them all upstairs, kind of fit it all together, and then assembled it upstairs, attaching these bottom pieces to the wall, attaching the desktop, attaching all these to each other, and then to the wall. So after I installed all of that, the face frames went on, which were just poplar face frames, and I just kind of pieced them all together after I assembled the whole thing, and that actually seemed to work really well. I left actually a space between the top here and the bottom of my ceiling. It was about a 3 or 4 inch gap because I needed to be able to reach in here and wire up the lamps once I had assembled the whole thing. So there was a little bit of gap at the top, which I then finished off with a crown molding that kind of covered everything up. And this was kind of mostly the finished project. It looks pretty similar to that. This I was just kind of messing around, but these are basically the lights that I installed, and I'll show. So up top there you can see the crown molding that wrapped around with the 3 lights. Those are all adjustable shelves across the top. The cabinets on the bottoms, I didn't do doors or drawers in there, so they're just open, and that's my pup.